My name is Emily, and I've always been a pretty average student at Greenwood High School. Life was routine and uneventful, but everything changed on that one fateful day. It started like any other day in our ninth grade class. I was doodling absent-mindedly on my notebook when the classroom door creaked open. Our teacher, Mrs. Thompson, walked in with a new student trailing behind her. "Class, this is Alex," she announced. "He's just transferred here. Please make him feel welcome." Alex scanned the room, his eyes dark and hollow, and took the empty seat in front of me. As he sat down, I was hit with a sudden, nauseating smell. It was like something had died and rotted away. I scrunched my nose and glanced around, but no one else seemed to notice. The rest of the day, I couldn't shake off that smell. It was coming from Alex's backpack, I was sure of it. After class, I approached Mrs. Thompson. "Mrs. Thompson, there's a horrible smell coming from Alex's backpack," I whispered. "It smells like something rotten." Mrs. Thompson looked at me with a mixture of surprise and skepticism. "Emily, it's probably just a piece of fruit he forgot to throw away. You're the closest one to him, so you noticed it. I'm sure it's nothing." I wasn't convinced, but I nodded and left. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about the smell. Something about it was deeply unsettling. The next day, I arrived at school to find police cars parked out front. A crowd of students had gathered, whispering and pointing. As I pushed through, I saw Alex being led out in handcuffs. My heart pounded as I ran up to one of the officers. "Why are you arresting him?" I asked, my voice trembling. The officer looked at me and replied,
"Aren't you the one who complained about the rotten smell from his backpack?"
"Yes, but what does that have to do with a crime?" I stammered. "What did you find in his bag?" The officer's face darkened.
"We didn't find anything inside his bag, but the rotten smell you noticed was coming from the backpack itself. The inside of the backpack is lined with several human faces, meticulously stitched together."
I felt the blood drain from my face as his words sank in. My legs wobbled and I barely managed to stay upright. "Human faces," I whispered, my voice barely audible. He nodded grimly.
"Yes, we believe Alex has been involved in multiple disappearances over the past few years. The faces in his backpack match the descriptions of several missing persons. You did the right thing by reporting the smell."
As the officer walked away, my mind raced. I had been sitting just inches away from a psychopath, completely unaware. The thought made me shudder. The school was closed for the rest of the day as the police continued their investigation. I went home, but I couldn't shake the feeling of dread. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the image of those human faces, grotesquely stitched together inside Alex's backpack. Days passed, but the horror of that day never left me. I learned that Alex had been living with his uncle, who had no idea about his nephew's dark side. The news spread like wildfire, and the whole town was in shock. I still go to Greenwood High, but things are different now. I'm different. I no longer take things at face value, and I trust my instincts more than ever. The memory of that rotten smell, and what it led to, will haunt me forever. And every now and then, when I'm alone, I can't help but wonder if there are more people like Alex out there, hiding in plain sight, with their own secrets waiting to be discovered.